Then if there is a peace agreement between the fighting factions, between the Syrians themselves, and they would want a UN peace operation to deploy, maybe to monitor the ceasefire, maybe to help implement the provisions of the peace agreement, whatever they say. What, in your view, are some of the lessons that the UN should learn from their presence in Bosnia, or maybe in other peace operations, that they should bring to Syria?
First of all, don't parachute exiles in to run the country. Secondly, to try to reach some kind of power sharing agreement. Thirdly, to try and establish some mechanism that will enable people to continue having an income, and that may mean, unlike in Iraq, actually not dismissing an entire army and making them all unemployed, and not to get too involved in the domestic politics, trying to impose politics favourable to the United States or NATO or whoever. There really does have to be a rethink of the extent to which external actors or international actors, whatever we call them, get involved and how they get involved. And obviously NATO countries have had really a very difficult time in getting involved in Afghanistan and Iraq. And that's one of the reasons why I think they've gone for what might be called a hit and run policy, which is to intervene at a distance, either using proxies or trying to use sanctions, or trying to use military bombardment and aircraft attacks or drone attacks and so on, because they want to leave it to the factions on the ground that are fighting to sort it out, and they don't really want to get involved on the ground if possible, not to lose any life anyway.
And do you think that's a positive development?
I think in so far as the outcome of conflict is being left to the people on the ground, then they are the people who are in the best position to decide on what is an acceptable outcome and what is an unacceptable outcome. Because when internationals get involved, they also have their own agendas, okay? And they will decide who is a rebel group or who is a legitimate group to support. Quite often not on the basis of humanitarian interests, but on the basis of geo-strategic interests. And that goes into the makeup of a conflict and complicates the solution, complicates the outcome. And to me, one of the difficulties is knowing when diplomacy should end and involvement in conflict should begin. And I think there's probably not enough emphasis on trying to find diplomatic solutions.